What the heck? It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't really know what's going on. I'm on my way up the west coast of South Africa. I've got a friend up there near Port Nolloth studying brown hyena. Gonna go give him a quick visit. It's about an 8-hour drive. I'll show you anything cool if I see anything along the way, but the chances of seeing a brown hyena are zero. The chances of seeing anything is pretty much zero. You're just gonna see my talking face and maybe some scenery. And even then, I might just get too lazy to film either of it. So you might just get this intro. And you're also not going to see the end of me eating that pie. I'll tell you why. Because when I got home, I ate the pie already and I didn't film it. I'm in Namaqualand, what looks like basically the middle of nowhere, right? I've been standing here for 5 minutes, just about to tell you about it, waiting for the traffic to stop. It's bizarre because I got here and I thought, well, this would be a nice calm place to show you how desolate this Namakuru is and how I'm being so wild and adventurous, middle of nowhere. Look at this almost desert-like, very low rainfall area, but quite predictable rainfall. They don't get a lot of it, but they know when it's going to happen. Thinking, look at me, I'm in the middle of nowhere. How exciting. And I've had to stand here for 5 minutes with trucks and cars driving past. Now this road goes to Port Nolloth, which is not the worst place in the world. Certainly I didn't expect it to be the most popular place on the coast. It's the west coast of South Africa. But apparently a pretty popular place. So I had to get this little 2 minutes in between the traffic. Hopefully traffic doesn't start again. If you look at this landscape, you might notice some of these bare patches. The landscape almost looks pockmarked. Talking about the circular looking shapes scattered around. There's one, quite a big one. You can see even far in the distance. Now these little pockmarks, they're called heveltjies. There's so much debate about what they are. When I was studying them many years ago, it wasn't exactly clear what caused these things. There were a lot of theories. These ones look, they don't look that regularly spaced. But if you take aerial photograph, you'll find out, you draw points on top of all the heveltjies that you can see. You'll find out that they are not randomly distributed throughout the landscape. So they've got some kind of structure to them, which made people suggest that perhaps they were created by something biological. And one of the things that's come up quite a lot is suggesting that they were made by termites. Microhodotermes viata, harvester termite. And the theory is that they're regularly spaced because each little mound, each little colony requires a certain amount of area to collect all the food that they need. But they're pretty big. And this is the size of a modern day mound. I mean, it's not very big at all. So, another thing they realized when they tried to figure out what these things were was they were always associated with calcrete. It's a hard mineral at the bottom. And now, termite mounds are also often associated with calcrete, but only in areas where calcrete actually occurs in the bedrock, well, in the underlying layers. But these Hevelkeys always have calcrete, and with calcrete you can carbon date them. So they carbon dated the calcrete in these Hevelkeys, and they were something like 20,000 years old, 30,000 years old. And then the argument came further and said, well, considering they're so old, maybe they're that big because multiple generations of these termites have worked on them over time, and they've managed to get that large because it's been such a long period of time that they've had to build it. But quite add up. You'll maybe notice that the vegetation type is quite different surrounding the mounds and on the mounds themselves. So in this area, the Hevelkeys are kind of bare, kind of barren compared to the surrounding vegetation. But further south, when I go past Clan William, hopefully I'll see some others where it seems to be the opposite. So the Hevelkeys are dominated by different species of plants to the surrounding area, and seemingly more plants, or bushes, this kind of things. If you analyze the soil on these mounds, they have higher nutrients than the surrounding areas. So they've got more nutrients, and it was thought, okay, maybe that's also a good argument for termites, because the termites are foraging over a large area, bringing back plant matter and bringing them to a centralized place, and maybe that bringing in of material is increasing the nutrients in that particular area. Don't know if you can see them now. They're actually spots with more vegetation on, rather than less vegetation. I've got a friend with a farm. It's not this farm. I don't know whose farm this is. I just stopped along the side of the road. I have a friend with a farm that went through an area that had Hevelkeys on. And he was telling me, he said, look, when I'm plowing my field and I go through those things, my plows always hit rocks. Nowhere else in the field are there any rocks. Only in those. You know, why do those things have rocks in it? I said, geez, buddy, I don't know. And we were told they were made by termites, and he said, nah, it can't be made by termites. There's no rocks anywhere else except for in this, and it's not like they're bringing the rocks in. He also thought it might be something to do with erosion. He said all the other rocks have washed away, except the rocks that are in here, they remain because the water doesn't come over these things anymore. Just thought it was interesting to show you the difference here between the Hevelkeys that we saw earlier that were bare patches and these Hevelkeys which have got more vegetation on than the surrounding area. So I've made it to the west coast. That's the coast. A nice cool breeze. So I don't know if it's going to affect the sound. Research has been done since then by two of my other professors, Jeremy Midgley and Mike Kramer. They argued that when you dig into these things, the soil is quite uniform and there's some pretty big rocks in there. And now the rocks are too big for termites to have brought in, or what's going on here? One of the other arguments was it was a interaction between termites and other burrowing animals like moles or mole rats or whatever the case may be. And they argued that, look, okay, some of these rocks that are in here are too big for moles, rats, termites to move. So what are they doing there? So they decided to take another approach. A guy in, I think it was Barnes in 1879 or 1880 or thereabout, suggested that maybe these are relics from the past where there used to be bush clumps. So little clumps of bush that protected the soil from erosion, and their root mass in these clumps would remain. So if there was erosion, the water would kind of flow around these bush clumps and reduce the height of the area around, and the roots of the bushes would protect that little area. Plants also concentrate nutrients around their roots and would concentrate calcium and calcrete in Hevelkies, basically. But yeah, here we go. Busy making more crows. There's one pair of crows to raise one group of chicks to fledging. Underneath their nest they found something crazy like 168 baby tortoise shells, including endangered tortoises. So they cruise around here and they're absolutely destroying the local tortoise population. And they shouldn't be here at all. So while they are supposed to be in South Africa, they shouldn't be in this particular habitat. So they're kind of invasive and they're alien to this particular area of South Africa. And they're just moving through these dry areas, along these power lines, along roads, eating roadkill, eating rubbish that people throw out their windows, stopping at these picnic spots, and in between doing that, killing our tortoises. It's a huge ecological issue. This is what I'm talking about, the traffic. Hardly find any time to say anything.